Jenny's here. Hello, Jenny. I'm glad you're here. Ramona's in the house. Good morning. Ramona says hello to everybody. And Paris says thanks. And Doris says, yep, I got it right. Super cool. All right, here we go. So the first thing I want to start off with is a message, especially because we have a few guests in here, actually quite a few from Travel Agent Hacks. I see everyone, and this is, of course, the biggest issue, the biggest question, and I saw it listed on the Hacks boards there about, you know, what's the hack of building a list? What's the hack of finding new business, of finding new customers, of growing my business? Friends, listen to me carefully. There's no hack. It requires hard work, not difficult work, but hard work. It requires effort. I mean, especially when it comes to groups, everyone thinks, let me just go find group leaders. Now listen to me, because you know we have a group focus here. Let me go find group leaders. Well, if you want to find group leaders, perhaps you can check the yellow pages. I think they're still made, and look up group leaders. And here's what you're going to get. You're going to get people who are professional group leaders. They're super savvy, and they're going to boss you around. They're going to take you for all you got. There could be other agents too, and you know they're going to get a dozen calls a day from travel agents saying, "Hey, let's do a group together." So here's a hack. Okay, go make your own group leader. Create your own. Mold your own. I've seen more successful groups start when they work with somebody who never knew they were a group leader. In fact, sometimes you don't want to tell them they're a group leader, because if you tell them, they're going to freak out, because normally the people who lead your groups have other things going on in their lives. True or false? Sometimes they're bigwigs of organizations. Sometimes they're authors, people who have accomplished things. Sometimes they could be the leader of a family if you're doing a family reunion. Do they want to have the new classification as a group leader? They may not. So only you may know they are, but in fact they are. So there's a hack for you. You know, you can't just really, it's not about buying lists and sending out postcards. It's about making friends. But let's back up for a second. I mean, here's a hack. Okay, can you be found? Can you be found? If I'm the guy out there thinking, man, I want to do a family reunion, man, I want to do a destination wedding, or man, I want to do an incentive for my company, you know, who do I use? Well, I find you. And you're like, Stuart, well, that's not the hack. Well, here's the hack. Being found, you have to build what's called a signature bridge. So I just had to start off with this right away, because it's not hard work, but it's the devil's in the detail. So what's a signature bridge? A signature bridge is how I find you and what I see when I get there. You, friends, you need to convince me that I can't do this without you. I need you. I wouldn't dare do it alone or with anybody else, because there could be big mistakes, and that's what consumers are doing. They need you travelers, more than ever before, because they're making big mistakes. They're either doing it with online.coms, or they're doing it themselves because they don't know you're alive. That's what Mike Marshev, my friend, says all the time. Let them know you're alive. Okay, then you're like, Stuart, well, how do they find me? I've got the best website. I've got fabulous social media. I'm telling my story. So, you know, do I have to pay for, you know, Google AdWords and stuff? And the answer is no. Okay, so one more tip here from the heart. You want to call it a hack? It's not a hack. It's basic business, which is you gotta do stuff. You got to integrate into these communities there you want business. It's one thing if you join BNI or some other group. That's cool. But are those the people you want to do business with? And when it comes to groups, friends, I would hope you will niche. Because if you're not niche, then you're going to cast a huge net. And people don't know they need you, because you say you do all kinds of groups. But if you say you specialize in a specific kind of group, whether it's cultural, whether it's geographic, whether it's river cruise, whether it's senior, whatever it is, whether it's photography, I hope it's a group, it's an area, it's a niche that's in your passion. Watch this, I'm going to stand up. That's in your love circle. If you've seen me do any keynotes or workshops, they talk about the love circle. It's the best hack of all, doing the business you love doing and integrating into those communities. And don't sell yourself but make friends, share, give out free stuff. Stuart, how do I give out, free stuff? What am I give a sample of cheese on a cracker? I'm not in the cheese business. No, but you're in the travel business, and 90% of the stuff they don't know. They think they know. Create a 10-point, not even a 10-point, a 3-point PDF and give it out. Put it on a postcard. The 3 things you need to know that you never knew about river cruising. Even if they know it, they'll be happy that you did it. And that's how you get out, make friends, build a list, but start to mix and mingle with the people you want to do business with. Wait, back up, the people who you know you can help. One final word before we dig in here, okay? One final word, friends. We're all so ready to sell ourselves and sell our wares and sell our services, and I'm telling you, that's bass-ackwards. And I can say that because nothing bad was said. Bass-ackwards. In the group business, friends, you don't sell. What you do is you solve problems. Write that down. You solve problems. Your mission, if you decide to accept it. Do we have any Mission Impossible fans? I used to watch Mission Impossible with my dad years and years ago. Still love it today, although they're kind of cheesy when you watch the originals, right? Where was I? See, this is what happens. I get off track and nobody's sitting here or in my audience to tell me. Okay. Your mission, friends, is to find organizations, whether they be family groups or destination wedding groups or companies, associations who have a problem, and use group travel as the solution. So there's your mindset hack for the day. Go find organizations, family, anybody who's got a problem, because you've got the solution. All right, let me check. Oh, wow, I almost poked myself in the eye. Let me just check, see if there's anything else going on here. Hans says strategic partners. Hate the designated Pied Piper. Group leader is okay. Be great at one thing. I agree with you, Hans. Thank you. The word strategic partnership is a beautiful word. Strategic partnership. First of all, the word partnership means a connectivity, means you're getting along, means you're doing it together. Means, especially strategic, means there's something in it for you and something in it for them. And that's when groups work well. So again, don't go looking for group leaders. You make group leaders. And don't even tell them they're a group leader. So I just gave a whole bunch of interesting. I hope you enjoy that. Okay, Sherry, I see your question here. I'm going to get to you next up. But for those of you who have just joined us, welcome. The slide's always going to stay the same. This is a business coaching session, so you're going to get out of it what you listen to, what you put into it. Okay, so bring it right here, right now. I'm here for you. And if there's anybody bold enough who wants their microphone or camera turned on, you tell me, and I'll give you advance notice when I'm going to turn your mic on or turn your camera on. Trust me, I cannot turn it on until you give me permission. Not verbal, but computer permission. All right? I'm not spying on you. Okay. So first I want to start with this. Nancy from Unique Journeys, are you here? Are you in the house? Nancy from Unique Journeys. So Nancy, listen up, everybody. I think you're going to find this helpful and start writing this down. This stuff is in boot camp, but it's a good reminder. So Nancy sent me just to take a look at a proposal of a group agreement letter, because one of the things, friends, that I can't impress upon you most is that you never, ever want to do a group without having the group agreement letter signed. I'll say it again. The group agreement letter must be signed. And I know you're like, oh, it's okay, we shook hands, we hugged, it's wonderful. As my mother would say, wonderful, everything's going to go fine, and then you go to sleep at night and, your eyes are like this. Uh-oh, will they do this? Uh-oh, they just asked me to do this. Uh-oh, all these assumptions are made. I don't care how, even if it's your own family. You need a group agreement letter signed. So Nancy sent me, and what she did was it just had a few bullet points on it, and I want to give you guidance that a couple of things is, yes, you want to be specific. You need to be really specific. You don't need to be legalese. No, notice I didn't use the word contract. I used the word agreement letter. Now, the only time, friends, I believe you're going to need a contract and perhaps have an attorney review it as if it's a complex group, as if there is any kind of revenue sharing where it's a fundraiser, something like that, where you need to protect your assets and theirs. Otherwise, my 6-step group agreement letter will work. And the most important thing of all, Nancy, is to write it. Listen, everybody, is to write a group agreement letter collaboratively. A lot of syllables there. Collaboratively, because you want the group leader, and if you don't call him a group leader, thank you, Hans, if you call him your strategic partner, more the better. Say, hey, we're doing this together. You hired me to make sure this goes to perfection, and I am a meticulous planner. So I've drafted up an agreement letter so you know what I'm doing, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and I'll know what your responsibilities are. So I put together a little document here. Let's go through this point by point together so you're comfortable with it, because I want you to feel great about this so you can sleep at night, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. That's why I've drafted up this agreement letter. Okay, so here are the 6 steps. And boot campers, you know it's in boot camp, but I just want to remind you, it's simple. Number 1, what you will provide. Number 2, what you will not provide. Sometimes we need to tell our customers what we're not doing, because this way there's nothing for interpretation. There's no confusion, there's no assumptions. And guess what number 3 is? Number 3 is what more is available. Now, you know I'm a big believer that you should be escorting and making money for it. But if it's not a complex group necessarily, and so it's really not necessary that you escort, or if they just don't want you, then that's, for instance, that's something that you add on. And there could be other extras or options that they've opted out of listed there, the additional services or products you can provide, so they know there's a cost. So they don't hit you 2 hours before and say, oh, we want this, can you do it? Well, it's going to cost you money, and all of a sudden you have an unhappy client because they think you're taking advantage, and you're not. Number 4, now it's time to list the things that they will do. And Nancy, too, this was important for you of Unique Journeys, the marketing process. Because, folks, when you're working with a group that has an existing list of the potential travelers, they have the list. They own social media, right? They normally won't turn it over to you. So you need to make sure that they know that they're going to need to put out certain messages when you need it to go out. And be as specific as possible. You can say minimum of 6 email blasts. Don't just say send out email blasts as needed. No, because you don't want them to then come back, I'm busy, I can't do it, and all of a sudden a month goes by and they've never done what they were supposed to do. Now, if you're going to put dates to it, that's awesomer. Not a word, but it works. Okay, so list all this stuff, and don't make it legalese, friends, because you don't want to scare them away. You're going to write this collaboratively. How many syllables is that? I don't even know. Number 5, we're almost through all 6. Number 5 is the incentive. It's critical that you lay out how they will earn the incentive. If you've given them incentive, which is perhaps some kind of a discount for the group leader, or the cocktail party, or, you know, because I'm a big believer in incentives, but they must earn it. There should be no gimmies, because what if they fall below? And Sam, you had that, didn't you, Sam, with your Ireland group? Hang on there. Group falls below 10 minimum 1 week before final payment. That's what happened to Sam. Has that ever happened to you? Yes. That's why you never do a gimme, no guarantees, because ain't nobody's guaranteeing you the amount of people who are going to book and pay unless it's an incentive. Unless it's a corporate incentive group. Then it's guaranteed because they're paying one check for everybody, right? Okay, so number 5 is lay out the tiers. And you also, if there's cash involved, you don't want to pay this out, listen to me, till after the group has either set sail or gone away, because what happens if there's a no-show? You know what I mean? So protect yourself. you could fall below at the last second. And the final point is key dates. And not only the key dates and deadlines of when monies are due and names are due and changes are due, but the consequences, friends, of being late. Lay it out, spell it out. And listen to me, I'm going to lean forward as I say this, because if I stand up, you won't see my face anymore. But by giving a group agreement letter and laying out what you're going to do, they're going to do, not going to do, the incentives and the key dates, you are taking control. Friends, a group hires you to, number one, you know where it's coming if you've seen me speak before, don't you? Reduce stress and risk. Number two, add value and convenience. Okay? They want to be able to sleep at night knowing you've got their back. You've taken care of everything, because they want somebody to blame if something should go wrong. They want you to blame, and you'll take it on because you're an expert at what you do. So what I need to know if that helps at all. Also, Nancy wanted to know about, with the insurance and stuff. She said, what do you do with the insurance? Now, this is a much bigger discussion about the insurance, because you can't include insurance. It's illegal for you to say insurance included. Now, if you do prepay, so there's ways around it, but you actually cannot use those words. Right? We've talked about this at great length, and we've got a guest speaker, Bonnie from Chubb. You guys know Bonnie? She was at Travel Guard for 100 years, and now she's awesome. That's our guest speaker who's coming in August. In any case, what I suggest, Nancy, is you do the assumptive inclusion, like when I did my river cruise partial ship charter. Okay, I didn't offer it. I just said, here's what your insurance will be. Once I knew what because the insurance I did, I used a travel insured for my river cruise group, and it's based on the price of the overall trip. So you don't know how much the insurance is, travel insurance, medical insurance, trip cancellation until, of course, the package. So I just said, here it is. I didn't put it out as an option, and only a couple people said no. And one of the couple people who said no is because they buy annual, they're covered. They have an annual policy. And there was two other couples who said no. And I had the conversation. I had them sign a waiver. I did what I could do. But overwhelmingly, the majority took it. And one couple ended up canceling right before, and it's a good thing they took insurance. All right. Let me stop yabbing here. We've got more to cover. I want to see if there's been any more. Sherry, I'm going to come back to your comment, your question in just a second. Nancy said, oh, Nancy's in the house. Nancy has a positive story. Nancy, your group launch sequence does work. Now, when I hear stuff like that, I do stand up and I do the dance, because when people hear the group launch sequence, they're like, huh? Wait a minute, how could it possibly work if you don't tell people the price up front? And it works, man. I just keep hearing story after story. So, Nancy, you just need to tell me if you want me to put your microphone on, if you want to jump on real quick and tell your story, or if you just want to say group launch sequence works. By the way, for those of you who are guests, group launch sequence is an absolutely upside-down, inside-out way of launching a group. All too often, right, you've got a great, awesome group concept, it's going, everyone says, yeah, we're going to go, and which is going to lead us, Paris, to your situation, right, Paris? And then wah. It doesn't sell. And what do? Sometimes you either cancel, or you give back space, or you reduce the price, and it's a real mess. So group launch sequence ends it. So Nancy, you tell me if you want to do that. Ramona's here. Okay, Nancy, Ramona, I'll come to you in a second. We're going to go back to the question from Sherry right now, which is, I've been having trouble deciding on a niche. Is it better to niche in what you sell the most of, or what excites you, even though you don't sell much of it? That's a great question, Sherry, and I want to ask you guys, everyone who's on, we've got a lot of people on right now, what you think is best. So should you niche, and I'm going to answer that. Should you niche in what you sell the most of, or what excites you the most? even though you don't currently sell. So here's the upside and downside. If you niche in what you sell the most of, then it sure sounds like that's your market. Those are the people who love you, who need you, and you must be doing a great job of, right, Sherry, or else they wouldn't be coming back to keep giving you more business, which means that you've created a reputation for yourself in that niche. Whether you picked it or they picked it, that's just where your business has led you to that niche. So if it's not painful waking up every morning and doing that kind of business, if you're happy with it, with the money you're making, if you're happy with the people you work with, your clients, and you see it's continued growth, then you're good, you're golden. Because if you were to change your niche and go with what excites you in your love circle, your real passion, it's possible. I don't know if you can do both. Maybe you can if you bring on some help. But you might end up, if your niche, Sherry, it isn't dealing with that kind of a consumer, those kinds of products, then you may start from scratch and open up, so build a new signature bridge and brand to your passion. But what normally happens, Sherry, and everybody, is that when we talk about, you know this, talk about products and brands, I don't like to say suppliers, because suppliers is just so stale, and sometimes we make the mistake of saying supplier to our customer, and they don't know what a supplier is. It's none of their business. Okay, so we could just call it a brand between us kids. When you talk about geography or destinations or lifestyle travel or hobby, whatever it is that you love, you can't wait to jump out of bed in the morning, right? You go out and you talk about it more because it's a natural. You enjoy doing the research. Now listen to me. One of the things I said earlier about building your list, because there's no hack for that, okay, is putting out free stuff, is position yourself as the expert. And if you've got a passion in that area, it's easy for you to be the expert because you love it. It's authentic, which means you can write a lot more documents. You can do quick little videos, okay, showing you doing things. Like, I'm an integrative health coach. I do a thing called, and I haven't launched that business yet. That's coming in a few years, called Healthy Sexy You. But we're already planting seeds. So every Sunday, if we're Facebook friends, you see I do a thing called Salad Sunday. And I make the most incredible, healthy, magnificent salad that we eat Sunday and for several days through the week. So I do a little video on that, or take pictures. See, that's my passion. I love it. So it's easier, and people respect you because you do it on a regular basis. It's not a pain in the neck. So it's a tough call, Sherry. I think you've got to consider both. Can you do both? Will you need to find a whole new market to pursue your passion? Now, if you put me up against the wall, you say, Stuart, I need an answer. As good as your business is right now in your current niche, I'm the biggest in the world believer that we should wake up every morning doing what we really, really, really love to do. I don't want to be that guy saying one day, someday, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't want to have any regrets. I want to pursue my passion, and I want to learn how to speak correctly too. Right, so I've written 2 little booklets back there, but I want to grow them, and I want to make them generic too, so people outside of travel can enjoy it too. There's another book I want to write, and you guys need to know something. I do everything on my bucket list. There's no such thing as stuff staying on my bucket list for too long. I do it. Sherry, tell me if that helped, and then we're gonna move on here. Okay. Hans says, go with your passion. Terry says, I say what you have the passion for, you will start finding those people that want it. I agree, because you become a magnet for that kind of business. So Terry, I agree. Hans says, try not to give up on your existing business. I couldn't agree more. And Sherry says, yes, thanks. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. If you got something you want to say, bring it. If you want your mic turned on, let me know. And what else? So We got a lot of more stuff to cover here. Let me go back to Ramona. She says, how do you handle the changing airfare and the price of the trip? Is there a disclaimer as to airfare is subject to change added to the quote? Absolutely, positively, and that's what it is right there. In fact, friends, whenever you state, you guys know this, right? Whenever you put a number out there, even if it's from a brand, that price could change within seconds. It can fluctuate up or down. And that's something actually you can even tell the client if you want. But I believe it's essential that if you put anything in writing, really, really big, the price you see is subject to change at any moment. You may not even want to put a 24-hour lock unless you know, in this case, it is a lock, or if the air is being provided by the cruise line, let's say, something like that, you know. But it's about CYA, you know, protecting yourself, that it may change, especially airfare, which fluctuates daily. By the way, here's what's the, oh, you guys probably know this, what the lowest airfare days are, right? I just read this, but you guys probably know this. I think is it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday? Something like that. Oh, I've got a hack for you. Here you go. What's the best day to buy gas? There is one day of the week that historically appears to be the lowest prices on gas based on every day, 7 days of the week. Do you know what day it is? I'm going to tell you. Monday. So if you want to save money, add it up over a whole year, get gas on a Monday. There you go. See? Don't say I don't give you crazy hacks of all kinds of crazy stuff. All right. Let me just see if there's anything else. Then we're going to go to, all right, we got it. All right, so let me go here. I need some more stuff, everybody. I got a ton of stuff to go through here, but first let me just, it's halfway through, so let me just give you this real quick. Mark this down. This is from my boot campers, and also whenever I have a special guest in, I open it up to the entire industry. So August 24th, Bonnie. Do you know Bonnie? She's really awesome. She loves travel professionals. It's been her, she's dedicated, like me, her whole career to helping you to be your best advocate. And we're talking everything insurance, medical insurance, travel insurance, also insurance for your business. Okay, so she's going to take on everything. And the beautiful part is it's not a pre-done, preset, pre-scripted webinar. We're going to make sure we get a ton of questions in advance, which we already have, and answer everything that's on your mind in that 1 hour time period. So please make sure you sign up. So I just want to let you guys know about that. Plus, we've got Ask Stuart Hour, and this is for my boot campers, July 25th and August 8th. And I don't know if anybody on the line here, if I'm going to see anybody at the group boot camp I'm doing with Dream Vacations Cruise 1. That's next week, July 2021. They're bringing me in to do a bunch of hours of group boot camp stuff. And then I'm going down to Cancun for Nexion. Do we have any Nexion members with us today? I'm again doing the entire group sales summit. This is round 2. It's in Cancun in October. Just want to let you know. If anybody's going, let me know. I look forward to hanging out. You can buy me a drink. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. So let's get the group launch sequence. Paris. Vacations by Paris. So I'm gonna read this first. Now this is about that group launch sequence, right? That Nancy, you gave a resounding testimonial for. I'm grateful for. I recently started to advertise a girls' getaway group. I was able to build the excitement for the first week or so. Now, by the way, just so you know, Paris is recently in boot camp, so she never knew group launch sequence until now. After the first week, there was excitement, and then after the first week, I haven't received any bookings. I'm the group leader, so basically, Paris, you are the group leader, which I highly advocate that each of you guys, everybody, you lead your own annual group, truly, truly, and especially Sherry, if it's your passion, then more are going to flock to you. And she doesn't know what else to do to get the ladies interested in the group. So she's done Facebook ads, so you spent money, Facebook events, Eventbrite, passed out flyers, marketing, social media. How do you get people excited about the group? Well, the bottom line is, just so you know, when you spend money on Facebook ads, this kind of stuff, if it's a girls' getaway, I think, you know, more power to you, but I think it's going to be very tough to get a girl who doesn't know you to come hang out with you. you know, from what I know, maybe I'm wrong because I've never gone on a girls' getaway trip. Girls' getaways are for usually a group of friends and friends who are friends of those friends, friends who are friends of those friends, so the group can certainly grow. But by advertising it, you may give somebody else the idea to do their own girls' getaway, but I'm not sure they would want to join a group of girls who they don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So so let me tell you what went wrong here. Listen up, everybody, because clearly you're the group leader. People know you're in the business, and normally people, when you're leading it, people will be more inclined to go. But in this case, it was a wah wah wah, and here's the reason. Listen, everyone is waiting for the other person to commit first. Well, I'm going to see if they go, I'll go. And that person is saying, well, if they go, I'll go. So it's a standoff. Nobody's willing to make the commitment first. So, but the problem is, Paris, and this goes for everybody, is that when we put all the details together and we rush, we get everything out there, including the price, and then we start to market it. That's opposite. It's the wrong way. That's the outdated old school method. Now the brands, the suppliers, everyone else out there is going to teach you that way, and it doesn't work anymore. Or I should say it rarely works, and if it does, it will never work as good as my group launch sequence. So the way we need to do it is hold the price to last. Because friends, think about you as a consumer. Once you see the price, right away you're making the decision, boy, that's too high or it's too low, and you're making a decision based on the price, which is the feature, and not the benefits that are included. So what we do in group launch sequence, Paris, you know this now, and everybody else, is that we build tremendous momentum before. Just like when you open up a restaurant or you launch a book, you build huge excitement before. And what you do is these series of informational events first. So you invite all the girls to these. And you could do one, you could do two, you could do three. You could do them the same week, you could do it over 3. For my river cruise partial ship charter on the Ama Christina, Ama Waterways, I did 3 once a week evening webinars. And I didn't even tell my mom the price or my in-laws the price. They were like, you really won't tell me? And I'm like, no, because I want you to make the decision based on all the things I've built in, the package, the value of the whole package. So listen, your mission during those informational series is not to sell, but to remove all the fears, trepidations, stresses, obstacles, all the things that are now holding them back, Paris, because they're afraid to plop down the money because we don't know who else is going, and we saw the price point, and frankly we didn't read the rest of the flyer to see if all the fun stuff because we just looked at the price. We want to see if anybody else is going. So you give the price dead last, and there's more elements to it. So my advice to you is, Paris, you can still do it. Now I know you probably have the price out there, but start fresh. Obviously you can't do the Whisper campaign or the Save the Date campaign. You can, but because you may attract new people. But I would just move forward and don't show anybody that you're frustrated. Don't reveal that you're concerned. Just sort of make it as if it's part of the natural procedure, the process, and now just schedule information, because that's what they need. They need information first. They need to hear the benefits, not just the features, the benefits. And then what you're going to do is you could tell people, I'm not taking your money until, I'm making up a date now, till August 1st. You cannot buy this until August 1st, and that's one day. I'm taking all bookings on one day only, and then we're closing down, right? Because you know that's the second to last step of the group launch strategy. So Paris, tell me if that makes sense. And what's very, very important too is that you do the open and close. You open up for sale and then close. Nancy, I assume, Nancy, that's what you've done. I know so many of you have been doing it. So let me just check the question box here. If there's nothing else coming through, then I will take on the next issue. Sherry says, regarding the launch sequence, when you say not to give pricing, do you mean the group leaders too, or just a potential guest as a whole? I have a group leader who wants pricing before they start marketing. What do I do? Sherry, that's a great question. No doubt, if you're dealing with the group leader, you will have no choice because they've got to sign off on it. So the group launch sequence happens after the group agreement letter is signed. So when you're signed, sealed, and delivered, this is when you market the group to the prospects, to get everybody to sign up to come away, to join the trip. Okay, so this comes after. This is when you launch it to start filling it. Now, I have in group boot camp. You guys know this in boot camp. I have a whole separate strategy for presenting to the group leader to get them to sign off on it and buy your great idea, and that's called Pitch Perfect, Sherry. And in Pitch Perfect, when you're going in to make a presentation for your great idea after you've done your qualifying, you don't just go in and present naturally until you've done a great job of qualifying, and you go and you present to as many people as possible, okay, not just one person, and you never, ever, 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 ever send it in an email or give them the rate up front. You present it live, in person, or on the phone. But the difference there, Sherry, is that when you're presenting to the group leader to sign off on and revealing the rate and the package, you do start off with the price first, up front. Because all they care about is that number. Is it too high? Is it too low? Did you come through for me in the range we needed? So get it out of the way. And then you can back into everything that's included, because they're going to say, wow, that's included? Wow, that's included? Wow, that's included? Remember, because you're going to do a package. Right, so it's very different when you're pitching to the group to get the business, and then when you pitch, after you've gotten that done, signed, sealed, and delivered, then you're pitching to the people. Sherry, I hope that helps straighten that out for you. Sam says, after participating in boot camp, I decided to make small group travel my niche. But now I see a niche within my niche is morphing into celebration travel. I've done more celebration travels this year than I have in the last 10 years. Did everybody hear that? Thank you, Sam, for sharing that, because that's what happens, right? Your business goes in a certain direction, and it can be niche within a niche within a niche. And friends, I don't have to tell you guys this, but you know, the number one reason for groups, the number one reason why people get together groups is celebration. There's the big event, and that's why you never ever want to end a phone call. Ever want to end a phone call without asking that person, hey, what big events do you have on your horizon? Write it down. What big events do you have on your horizon? You want to call that a hack? Call it a hack. I think because everyone's going to have something, and maybe they've got a problem. They don't know where to have this anniversary. They don't know where to have the big birthday. They don't know where to have the family reunion. And guess what? That's the problem. And guess what's the solution? Let me hear you say it. Let me hear you say it. Group travel is a solution. Thank you very much for sharing that, Sam. Paris says, yes, I understand. I think I can still salvage it. Absolutely, Paris. And please let us know how things go. Nancy says she's having technical... Oh, okay. You bet. All right, so Nancy, here we go, Nancy. So Nancy, tell me if you're still there, because I'm going to go to you. Let me see if I can find you here. I'm going to turn your microphone on, and Nancy's going to give us a quick update on her group launch sequence story. I'm getting to you. 1 second, Nancy. I will find you. I promise. Nancy, where are you? There you are. Okay, hold on there. Unmute Nancy. All right, here you come, Nancy. Nancy, are you coming in loud and clear?
I am, Stuart. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to hear your voice. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Thank you for being courageous.
Same here. Well, I'm a big fan, you know, and I've learned so much from Stuart. I hope everybody keeps listening, because it's good for business and personally. My quick story, because I don't have a lot of time, but I have a small group that I launched going to Iceland for September, and the sellout is 17. I have 13, so I have 4 more seats, and I'm it's okay with 13, but 17 would be much better profitably. Anyway, so yesterday I live in Portland, Maine, farmer's market. and a 15-minute meter. I went back to my meter, and right across there is a store that sells only Scandinavian products. So I went in and asked spoke with the owner of the store, introduced myself, and told him what I was, a travel advisor, small group tour coordinator and leader. And I had not met him before. I'd been in the store, but I hadn't met him before. It turns out his cousin is a travel agent that I know, blah, blah, blah. And I told him about the trip to Iceland. And then we got talking, and he said, I haven't been back to Scandinavia in like 8 years. I need to get back. And there's all these people that I have that come in the store that really want to go. And I'm thinking that maybe you and I could work together. And he just laid out everything. I didn't have to say anything. He just laid it out in front of me, like, here's what I think we could find a restaurant and a back room that might be able to have a dinner meeting, and I can invite all these people that want to go, but not the people that use walkers, He's very specific about who he wants to travel with, and I was like, your voices were in my head, Stuart. So
Wow.
That was really exciting, and he took a pile of my cards to give to the other people that might be interested in Iceland.
Right.
But that's just another potential group down the road to Scandinavia. So
that's awesome. And all you did was you walked in and you made friends, a store that you've done business with, and you made a connection. There was some common ground there, and now that you've started a relationship, you weren't going in selling, you were having a conversation, and because you have expertise, you have experience, right away you built your self-integrity too, so he's already comfortable with you, so congratulations, good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah, they say Maine is just one big small town.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that because of that, I don't really have a niche. I do a variety of style of trips because I got to take the business that comes my way. So I can't be too specialized. But
yep, I hear you. All right. Hey, thank you so much for putting your mic on and for sharing your great story. Appreciate your inspiration. All right, Nancy, I'm going to mute you. Here we go. I'm going to put you on mute. Okay, you're on mute. If anybody else wants to be bold, I know, Sam, you do it all the time. Everybody just let me know. Let me go back to the question box, and I've got a couple more things, several things I want to cover here. Let me see here. Jenny said, what kind of store did she go into? It sounded like, so Nancy, if you just want to type that in, if you don't mind, and I'll read it, because everybody, you guys can't see what y'all were typing in. I think it was, Nancy said, a store that sells Scandinavian type items. I don't know if it was furniture or decorations, but Jenny, I'll get you that answer. Okay, I want to address this here. And listen, friends, we have about 15 minutes left. So if you've got an issue, if you've got an opportunity, if you've got a challenge, now's the time. Let's do some business coaching right here, right now, as we all together try to grow our groups. I want to share a comment that Beverly, she's a group boot member, had made AYS Travel and Tours. And let this be an inspiration to everybody, because we often talk about corporate travel, and while I do have some training modules certainly to get you going in corporate travel, that is on my list to expand on greatly, to do some heavy-duty training for those who really, really want to pursue it. But what thing I want you to understand is that it's not all that terribly complicated. It's just, you just go about it a whole different way, and the beautiful part is that on the brand side, the supplier side, there are experts there who will bend over backwards and do backflips and yoga to do this business with you. So don't sweat it. Don't let just the concept of it, oh wow, it's only the big agencies that do it, so there's no way I can handle it. My friends, you can. You already have the basic skills, but the way it works, even the contracts, the rates, that's different, but it's not above your pay grade. You can do it, and let me know if anybody's on here who, if you've done an incentive or some kind of corporate group, tell me if I'm right, tell me if I'm wrong. The beautiful part is, again, you're negotiating with one entity, you're getting paid by one entity, and especially it's incentive, they do it right, man. So if you're looking for, I hate to use the word luxury because we define that in different ways, each of us, but if you want a great per diem, if you want to make great money and deliver a fantastic product, because companies want to reward their top producers or their top top people, so it's got to be the best. You can do this. So Beverly said incentive groups are the hardest part of groups to get into because so many, quote, big boys are out there. But know that most of the company's internal travel coordinators are overwhelmed junior persons in the HR department, right? So when you approach these companies to have a conversation to see if they have a problem being they need somebody to handle, to take the pain, to take the headache away of doing an incentive group, and that's you, is that they need you. These junior persons are always in need of someone like us who is willing to help. And I think that's a great observation. And when I worked on the supplier side, the brand side, with Celebrity and other companies before that, it's certainly true. They need you to come and help them. Okay? They really don't want to do this themselves because it's way too much pressure. And they want somebody to blame should something go wrong. And they want somebody to blame should something go right, too. Because they are the hero. They picked you to help them do the business. And then I love how this is just, we talked earlier about how do you build your list? How do you build your customer base? I told you, you get out there. You do things that so that people see you, know you're alive. They can find you, and when they come to your website or your social media, even if you have a one-page website, they're impressed, and they're thinking, man, I need to know this guy Stu Cohen. He knows his stuff. But one of our members, what they do is they do local news reports. They've established themselves as the local expert, so that when their local news station is doing a broadcast, anything on travel, guess who they call? They call Beverly. They call somebody from that company, that agency, AYS Tours and Travel. Hey, can you come in and talk on it? How many of you do that? Contact your newspapers, contact your TV or radio stations, and say, but you can't just say, hey, call me when you've got an issue. They have to believe that you know what you're talking about. And they're going to check you out online. So your site has to command respect. Because when people also see you on the TV or hear your voice on the radio or read your words in the newspaper, they're going to check you out. And you just need to be consistently, holistically impressive. Does that make sense? Consistently and holistically impressive. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this over because I can't wait to read this from Sam at Travel and Good Company. But let me check the question comment box here. Okay. So Jenny, to answer your question, Nancy said it was a gift shop. It is a gift shop called Simply Scandinavian. Love this store, full of goodies and high quality clothing from the North Pole. The best medicine for a homesick Finn in Poland. My American friends love the licorice. They sell super the licorice they sell, and they have super customer service. So, and you know how I define customer service. I don't even use those words. I use loyalty grade service. That's my book. Are you my travel agent? Are you mine? It's about delivering loyalty grade service. So clearly, Nancy, they do that. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing. Jenny, we got the answer for you. Sherry said, I'm going with a group of ladies on a cruise to Alaska at the end of this month. I use my GAP points for a cocktail reception, but this is my first time going on a TC. What are my responsibilities as a TC? Is there anything else special I should do for the group? First of all, that's awesome that you use GAP points for that. And that one thing, whether you have it, it's already past the point, but friends, you never, ever want to tell your client what a GAP point is. It's none of their business. It's none of their business. It's your business. When you go on an airplane, you fly someplace, does a pilot come out, sit next to you, say, listen, so we need to throttle back in an attitude with a lift circulation and this. Nope, you don't want to know that. It's none of your business. It's going to frighten you. And the point is, because obviously, Sherry, you've used those GAP points wisely, but you want to keep those in your back pocket to use as a negotiating tool. And you don't want to give a credit to the brand, to the supplier. You want to take full credit. I'm going to get your free cocktail party, something like that. They don't have to know where you got it, how you got it. You just want to leverage it. So that's good stuff. And you're going on a TC. So you know naturally with a TC, a tour conductor, that it never means free, so I'm assuming you know that, Cherry, because you still have to pay probably NCCFs and port taxes and gratuities, this kind of stuff. So, you know, they typically strip it down, but I don't want to make a general statement because it could be a river cruise, and it could be different. It could be no NCCFs, and you know, so just be prepared, because you may be putting a lot of money out of pocket, especially for the second berth. Sherry, I don't know if you earn 2 berths, but normally the cruise lines, of course, do. You earn 1 berth at a time, and you have to pay for the second if it's not earned. And I hope that you've covered those costs, because basically, if you're going to escort that group, you shouldn't be doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You should be making money doing it. And they should be baked into the price, because no client is going to say, fine, here's $5 grand for you to be here, to pay for this, pay. They're not going to do that. So you build yourself in, you bake yourself in. You just say, no, I'm not charging anything, but it's all built in. I've baked myself in, because frankly, Miss Jones, you don't want to do this group without me there. You want to go and have a good time, don't you? So, Sherry, this is the way I'm going to answer your next question, which is what else can you do? So your role there, Sherry, I don't know how you've already positioned yourself, but your role there is to stay a step ahead and behind the scenes. Your role is to make sure that your clients don't sweat the small stuff. That's your job, is to sweat the small stuff. Is to stay a step ahead, so that before they go into that room, before they go in for dining, before they go in for the private cocktail part of the event, that things are set up and they're perfect, so your client has a worry-free, great, awesome time because you're there. Because you want to use this client, Sherry, naturally as a reference. That it was a good thing Sherry was there, because when Sherry walked into the room, this wasn't right, but she had it fixed by the time we all got there, and we can't afford to have something go wrong on this trip. It's a very important trip for us. So that's your role. Sherry, you know, one of the simplest things you can do, in addition to arriving early to make sure everything's set, meeting the group manager on board the ship, I'm assuming certainly it's a ship, meet the group person on board, the group director, because a lot of times they change the rooms. Sometimes they don't even know you're coming. Sometimes they don't even know what you need. So you want to mitigate any issues that could come up by having that meeting right away. And you can do a meet and greet, welcome people on board. But the last thing I'm going to say is, are you going to do, Sherry, a hospitality table? And that hospitality table does not have to be there from 9 to 5. It can be there from 10 to 12 every day. But you want to communicate that clearly to everybody, the hours you're going to be working that table and what you're there to do. And that's just to be on call. Because the rest of the time you're going to be a step ahead behind the scenes, and you're going to disappear, because it's a lot of hard work. I mean, you need to have a purpose there, and they need to know what your purpose is. Okay? So tell me if that helps, Sherry. We can talk. I actually have in boot camp, and I want to know if any of my boot campers have read it or printed it out. Have you? The week 4, I have a document with the 92, we call it hacks, the 92 things you need to do as an escort. See, when I worked on the supplier side, and I've done groups myself, escort groups, you name it, I've done it. I've seen what's gone right, I've seen what's gone wrong, and sometimes when you see what goes wrong, you learn more. So I put together a document that has the 92 things that escort should be doing. So even if you did, you know, half of them, you'll be in great shape. That's in boot camp. Terry said, forgive me, but did you say that you have some boot camps for incentive travel? Well, in group boot camp, Terry, I have modules on corporate travel. I have guest experts who come in, and it's also in boot camp, that we talk about meetings and incentive MICE travel. So it's because it's a group, it is part of group boot camp. So the answer is yes. Am I adding even more? Yes. Is there enough in group boot camp now to get you started so that you can get into the business now and not want for more? Absolutely yes. Do we talk about it often on business coaching sessions? Yes. And like I said, I've had like a couple people in who have been in who specialize it on the supplier, on the brand side, so you get the behind the scenes look. Terry, if you need more information on it, I'm happy to help. Nancy said that's a review of customer on their website. Okay, so you just read before about that Scandinavian place. Doris says, but when you're new, it's hard to be believable. I get it, Doris. So, Doris, you're new in the business. It's hard to be believable. Absolutely. No matter what business you're in. Could you imagine if you're a pilot or if you're a surgeon or if you're a doctor? My daughter, she's graduating here to be a physician's assistant. My wife is a cardiovascular nurse practitioner. Going to see your first client, that's the hardest client of all. So what's the answer? It's twofold. Number one, it's confidence. And how do you have that confidence? You have that confidence because you believe in yourself. And it's that passion that comes through. Because if you're not passionate about a specific type of travel, then you're never going to be able to sell yourself, or they're never going to buy you. They're not going to believe you. So it's confidence built on real knowledge. Okay? Let me just zip through this here. Jenny said, please repeat kind of store. Oh, let me see. Hold on. It's a gift shop called Simply Scandinavian. Love this store. Full of goodies and high-quality clothing from the North Pole. Did that help, Jenny? Did that help? Or you can connect with Nancy in the Facebook boot camp, because I'm running out of time. Sherry said, I have a roommate who paid for her birth. Awesome. Good stuff. And Sherry said, very helpful. Luckily, there are only 6 rooms, and they invited me to participate as a friend. That makes it more fun. That's great. Good luck, Sherry. Report back. You're not boot camp? Are you in boot camp? I don't know. Sorry. Okay, so I want to read this. We got a minute left. Let me just read this. This is from Sam from Travel in Good Company. Stick with this. It's really awesome. She wrote this out. It's 1 page, and she called it This Agent's Group Journey, parentheses, without ever leaving home. This Agent's Group Journey. After 6 months of building anticipation and interest, you finally open up for reservations and deposits. You meet group minimum immediately. So grateful for the group loan sequence. Stuart's a genius. Now, I don't really want to read this. I'm uncomfortable. And congratulate yourself for having the good sense to sign up for boot camp. So that's very sweet, but this is part of the story. Group number continues to go up. So this is like a journal, right? Birds are singing, flowers are blooming, skies are blue. You do the happy dance. Next entry. Group goes down. Okay, a little setback, still time. Listen to the Ask Stuart Hour, get re-energized, and you reach out with phone calls, direct mail, Facebook, email to existing members of the group and clients. And what do you do there? You tell people to, hey, is there anybody else you want to travel with? Anybody else who you would love to join you on this group? Next journal entry. Group goes up. You give yourself an atta girl. You've got this. Group goes down. What? Time for some more motivation and checking with colleagues to go back and reach out again to the existing members of the group, to reach out to everybody who had already said no. I'm paraphrasing here. Group goes up. It worked. Breathe a sigh of relief. It's smooth sailing from here, so close to final payment. So here's the recap. Stick with me. Group falls below 10 minimum 1 week before final payment. You've got to be kidding. Beat your head against the wall and look to the heavens and say, why me? And sit quietly dumbfounded by your bad luck. Okay, moment of despair is over. Time for action. Start by asking, what would Stuart do? Okay, pull yourself together, call your contact at the tour operator, lay it out, be honest, and just ask, can you help me? End result, here we go. Tour operator waived the 10 minimum. It works when you make some changes that don't affect the integrity of the group itinerary. And nobody had to pony up any more money. The commission was intact. The TC was still covered. And she ends the journal entry as, ta-da, final payments are made. Group is going to Ireland. And now she's going to go lie down and take a nap because that was stressful. But the bottom line is you did everything, because if you hadn't done those other things, reaching back out to the people who've already bought and to the people who already said no, it would have never even come that close. And these people, this core group, they're going to come back and do it again. So Sam, I thank you for sharing with us. We are at time, and I always promise to end and start on time. So thank you for being here in the Ask Stuart Hour.